Mother. You're alive. Too bad you will die.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Underrated. We are the Undercast Company. Per usual, I have my lovely hosts with me, Ariel Ortiz and Derek McDuff.
How's it going?
And I am Alan Torres. And of course, as usual, we're going to be talking about some very cool, underrated films. And this one, I don't think anyone's ever heard of. It has a very diverse cast. It has great special effects, fantastic writing, awesome martial arts. It's everything, everywhere, all at once.
I was about to say, I think I would say that our choice is everything, everywhere, all at once. Actually, very much inspired because it did going off of you talking about the cast. It had a very vast Asian Pacific Islander cast, and yeah, it was. but Alan, tell them what we're really talking. The inspiration for everything, everywhere, all at once. You know, like the Daniels watched this as kids, and they're like, "We're gonna take this and run in our direction," and now it's led to Oscar wins like through the roof.
Whoa, no way. I don't believe it. Actually, yes, they probably watched this film and said, hey, we're going to do everything that film did, the opposite. We're going to be talking about today of the lovely video game film Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Because what special episode is today?
It's one of my favorite days of the year and on the internet, April Fool's Day. So hey, happy April Fool's Day, everybody.
Yay. Third year in a row.
Yep. Gotta keep the tradition doing whatever.
Absolutely. So yeah, pretty much this film, oh man, it came back in 1997, sequel to Mortal Kombat, which was actually a really good video game film. Good for its time compared. At the time, it was probably the best.
Disrespect to Mario.
Yes, I mean Super Mario Brothers is the shit, but I feel like and Street Fighter are the shit, but they're kind of culty for even at the time. But Mortal Kombat at the time was like the only one that was ahead of everything else. But I mean, the bar was pretty low. But Mortal Kombat Annihilation was able to set the bar even lower. Directed by John R. Leonetti, and the only two actors that came back were for the movie was Robin Shou and Talisa Soto, who play Liu Kang and Kitana.
They couldn't even get back Highlander. What else was he doing? Highlander 3?
It's just wild, man. I mean, look at all the money they spend on the special effects. Holy shit.
Oh my god.
And it has a whopping huge Rotten Tomato score, for anybody wondering, at a healthy 4%. So, yes, this film did wonderful with critics. Didn't do too bad at the box office, $16 million.
No, it did bad at the box office.
Really? Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry, I thought the budget's at $16 million, and I was like, oh, that's not too bad. But yeah, $30 million, yeah, box office bomb.
There you go.
Yeah.
My bad. Misread it. I was trying to give it a little faith because I did see it in theaters when it came out. I was hoping my
I think I did
$6 went in to help, but obviously not. But the whole, anyways, plot of this movie, there's really none.
Yes, I was about to say.
Fucking fast. I was like, oh, 95 minutes, cool. And it's a fast 95 minutes.
Yeah, like about 10 of those 95 minutes are credits, honestly.
I think very much so. It's just like a blasting of like character, and no plot at all, kind of thing. You're just like, did Shao Kahn, that's his name, right? Did he show up at the end of the first one? Or did he, show up? Because I know it starts right after the first.
Well, let Alan tell us the plot in air quotes real fast.
The plot, okay, yeah. So right after the end of the first one, Shao Kahn appears, and he says, "Fuck the rules of Mortal Kombat. I don't care that you won. I'm gonna take over all the realms," and that's pretty much it. I have a cavalcade of characters from the games that you're gonna fight, and I'm gonna become the ruler of all the realms, and Shinnok is gonna, my dad, who's not really his dad, is like, I'm gonna help you out, bro, because I'm an elder god and I can do what I want. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, and fuck Raiden, who's for some reason he's his son, and Shao Kahn are brothers, and I was like, okay, sure. I think they were trying to attempt a twist, and I was like, there was no build up to the twist. It just fucking happened, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You got me. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell. So what did you guys think?
It's being a fan of the first one as a kid. This one was and is still such a disappointment. I think it's because that added budget. I think like the added budget definitely
it's not that much more. They spent like the first one was like 26 million. This one's like 30. So with inflation, it's about almost exactly the same.
Yeah, but I think their choice was like, let's go into this new computer graphics kind of shit. Let's bet it on black with this computer graphics stuff, because in the first one's very practical, right?
Yeah. The majority of it, yeah, is pretty practical. I think the only big special effect I remember is like Reptile when he first appears and he turns into his ninja form, and then after they beat him, and I think that's pretty much it. Maybe some smaller
transform. I don't know. Does Sub-Zero kind of like form in the first one too in a spectacle way?
I know he does his like ice ball, and that was like a whole cool, and it looked good. It looked good for the time. Yeah, I think that's mainly it. I think
yeah, but it just it felt so it felt so just out there, and like I was looking at IMDb and the synopsis, and then literally the synopsis is so freaking funny. If you go on IMDb on the synopsis, it says the sequel to Mortal Kombat, where if you've never played Mortal Kombat 2 or 3, you will be so lost.
Yeah. That is accurate. I was a Tekken guy, so I never played Mortal Kombat games. I had no fucking idea what was happening in this movie.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is like I said before, it's very much was a movie where they like spewed all this lore, and it's like that's it kind of thing. Like you get like I know like because there's like really deep lore on the main bad woman.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat has the deepest lore.
And stuff, yeah, and
you say you joke, but it really does. Tekken and Mortal Kombat have probably like the best lore for like most fighting games. So don't joke.
Yeah, and the only bright spot that I enjoyed when I first watched this as a kid, and then like enjoyed him now, just because I love his character and I love his fighting style and his Sub-Zero. Even in the new one, He's love that they
barely in this.
I know that's.
I was like, oh, cool, Sub-Zero. I know that guy. He does the ice thing. And Scorpion. He gets over here. They were just like 3 seconds. And they were gone. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why. And this could be said with the newest, Mortal Kombat, that while really awesome like fight scenes, really wish they used more of and just kept it as the mythos of Sub-Zero and Scorpion, because I think out of all Mortal Kombat history, like, and characters, I like love their dynamic, and that's what I really loved about, and was one of the only things I loved about the newest one. Like, when did it's come out? Like 3 years ago?
2021, so 2 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say about 2-3 years.
Yeah. But I just so like seeing him having his mask off, it was like yes. I always cheer for Sub-Zero, and like he was the only good thing. They did our man Liu Kang dirty with this second one, because he's such a badass in the first one, and this one is just underutilized, always getting beat up and shit. And then
He fared better than Johnny Cage.
Oh yeah, no, that whole thing with Johnny Cage. That's like one of the most memorable, like, what the F moments of the 90s. You know, of like, what? Like, they just full on killed our man. You know, our guy. You know, our the comic relief of this movie. Oh, like, they killed off the comic relief. Raiden, like, fill in the comic a little bit.
Which is fucking weird. They really, I will say, this film and the previous one, they really had the weirdest choices with Raiden sometimes. But at least the first one, he was like awkwardly funny, like he didn't mean to be. And this one, I was just like, was that a fucking joke or what? Raiden's like one of my favorite characters, so I was just like, why? Well, okay, all right, give up your powers, Raiden. Sure. See how that fucking helps.
Yeah, how he comes back and like, I'm just one of you guys now.
I'm got a cool
like,
haircut now.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, he's like, what's his name? Hey, cool kids or something like. What's that?
Steve Buscemi, like that. Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
What's up, fellow kids?
Yeah.
What's up, fellow mortals?
Yeah, exactly. And
I'm proud to die immortal. I was like, you're immortal for 10 seconds.
And then yeah, like, he dies, and then like, hey, you want to become an elemental god? Yeah, okay, kind of thing.
Cool.
And he wasn't even a lightning elder god. He was some fucking like smoke or some shit.
Yeah.
I don't know what dirt. Yeah, and I was like, really? That's the lowest hanging fruit. You could have made him lightning, and you're still like, nah.
Yeah.
Let's make him dirt.
Yep. No, Alan, because I had never seen this movie. I've never seen Mortal Kombat 95. I had barely ever played the games. Like, I'd play the game. I never owned any of them. I'd play them at like friends' houses or like at my cousin's house.
The arcade and stuff.
Yeah, but like when I'd go to the arcades, I'd go to the Tekken, you know, or Street Fighter even. So Mortal Kombat was never really my thing, you know. So I really, my only real cultural osmosis is just like knowing the big things about Mortal Kombat, seeing the 2021 movie, and then just kind of knowing memes on the internet about this movie. And I like it's always fun whenever we do these April Fool's episodes to talk about a movie that's so bad it's good. And this truly is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. This is insanely bad. This is like phenomenally terrible. But God, was it fun to watch. This was so fucking stupid and so much fun. And, you know, speaking of Tekken, the Tekken movie from a while back, like, it's just regular bad. It's just, like, bad in, like, not a fun way. So I really do appreciate that this is colossally terrible and just ridiculous. To the point where when the movie started, and I paused it because I was trying to make sure that what I was seeing was actually real and not just, like, a glitch on my TV or something. And I immediately texted you, Alan, because I was looking at the sky in the background, and the special effects were just literally not finished. Like, the sky, there was a big line in the middle of it where they hadn't finished the special effects. And there's lots of stuff like that throughout the movie where there's just like, you're like, that doesn't...
halo around them.
Yeah, like there's lots of stuff where you're like, that doesn't look rent. Like, I've literally in my life never seen a professional, like a theatrically released movie where the sky looked like that. Like, it, like I was amazed, and in doing a little bit of research after, apparently the special effects were just not done. They were like trying to finish them, and the studio was like, "Yep, no, the movie's done. We're gonna ship it out now," and they just didn't finish the special effects, which makes a lot of sense because it looks so terrible. Also, but like that's just one piece. Like Ariel was saying, a big part of this movie is just people just fucking show up, and they're like, it's time now, we need another fight, so this person from the game is gonna show up, and if you know who they are in the game, if you don't, you're like, who's this Native American dude, and why can he turn into a dog? It's like, you'll get 3, and it's funny, because I was like, reading the Wikipedia on the movie, and it's like, even in the Wikipedia article, which the Wikipedia is famous for trying to be very neutral, they don't try to do any jokes or anything, but it's like, he has to complete 3 tasks. The first task is patience. The second task is temptation. The third task is never addressed. And it's just like the way that there is no script to this movie. It feels like they just made shit up on the day, and they're like, whatever. We'll just CGI it. We'll throw in one of those those bugs from the Edgar from Men in Black, because that's what those weird dragon guys that chomp on Jade look like. It's like, this person betrayed you. These guys are secretly brothers. Nothing makes sense. It is just an absolute smattering of nonsense and just throwing whatever at the wall, and then people turn into monsters. And because it's like, oh yeah, we had introduced that earlier. We should probably pay it off, but then they'll fight, and then the whole thing with the mom and the prophecy, and that goes absolutely nowhere. And the movie starts with one of the most iconic bad lines ever. You know, you have the "No, you will die." Like, I had like some idea of what this movie was gonna be going in, but like I knew, I was like, yeah, this is the movie that was released to theaters. I get that it'll be bad, but it's not like The Room or something. Like, it was made by a studio. Nothing could have prepared me for what I went into. This is not a made-for-TV movie like we did last year. It was not made by Tommy Wiseau. It was an actual god-honest movie that a major studio spent $30 million on.
In the 90s.
In the 90s money.
Yeah.
90s. Yeah. How? Where did the money go? Like, nothing makes any sense to me right now. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just especially like having I don't know if it was like a speed, like, oh, the first one did so well, was like kind of well received enough by fans, like they're like, let's just hit them while we still have the, have their attention or something like that. Because
yeah, let's just make a quick buck. Let's just put it out, and if it's not done, whatever. And it's like, the studios have this, I think, perception, like, video game fans are dumb. They'll just see whatever we put the branding on it. They'll go out and see it. It doesn't matter how bad the movie is. And I think this really tested that theory and proved that it was not correct.
Well, I mean, at the time, there was only like less than a handful. There was, Super Mario Bros., Street Fighter, and those were unfortunately not well received. So when Mortal Kombat came out, it was like, whoa, they finally got it right. Holy shit, we actually got a good one. And then it's just like you said, though, Derek, like it's one of those things where the studio's like, well, let's make a quick buck. Let's say fuck it, let's try again. Who cares? And I know a little bit of the story of why this movie's kind of like a big clusterfuck. Essentially, there was this dude who just got shit done in the 90s. I believe he worked in Hollywood, and essentially, like, he just knew who to talk to, knew how to do things. He was a big fan. I think originally he was a fan of the Mortal Kombat games, and he was like, I'm going to go out of my way to make a Mortal Kombat movie. I'm going to find the people to make it. I can't remember his name. It's been a while since I've seen it, but there's this guy on YouTube called Matt McMuscles, and he does an amazing, like, video that breaks down the history of Mortal Kombat Annihilation. His series is called What Happened? And he talks about like video games and video game movies, essentially, but go check that out. The story is hilarious and riveting. But yeah, essentially this dude was like, he caught lightning in a bottle with the first Mortal Kombat. He's like, I did it. And then essentially they're like, you got to do it again. And he was like, oh fuck. And then just his whole world essentially started crashing down. And I think this was like his like way of trying to fix it, and it just didn't work out. I'm kind of paraphrasing a little bit of the Matt McMuscles video, but because of that dude, this is why this movie is such a clusterfuck, and why so many characters were recast, and just nobody was really focusing. I think I want to say the guy they got to direct the film had never directed before.
He had he worked on the first one in some capacity.
Yeah, he worked on the first one, but he wasn't like, I think, creative or anything in that. I think he was straight up like, God, I don't know, maybe like a cinematographer, maybe, or like a boom mic guy. I can't remember. But I don't know. It was such a small role from what I heard.
He was the cinematographer.
Okay, so it was okay. The way he made it sound in that one video was like he was such a small role, and this dude was just so inexperienced that they were just like, "Oh fuck it, you were behind a camera, you know what to do," kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was something like that. But oh god,
I think because the first director is the director that went on to do the Resident Evil movies. Correct?
Yeah, Paul Wes Anderson. He makes a lot
Yeah.
of bad movies that I hate.
Yeah, but essentially, I was the only thing that I like watched was like they talked about how like yeah he like couldn't do the second one, and then because it came out so bad, that's what made him like not let go of anything for the Resident Evil movies because he's like if I don't direct these things and then it's gonna be messed up.
Someone's gonna fuck
No,
it
he
up.
didn't. He directed the first two. He didn't direct the third one, and the third one's actually really fun.
Oh, okay, well yeah, like I guess
'Cause the
like
guy
that.
from Highlander
did-
directed the third one of
He did
Resident
like the
Evil.
majority of them,
Yeah,
but
the
He
even
still
then,
he wrote it. He did still write it. I should say.
Oh,
yeah.
So maybe
But
that,
he stepped
yeah.
away from directing the third one, which is why it's pretty fun.
but yeah, like I guess it's just a tumultuous movie. Like there's just so much problems with it because, for example, like why Jack suddenly like, oh, I got real arms now.
Okay, I was gonna ask about Jax because that's one thing we're talking about. People just show up. She's just like, I'm just gonna go to this facility, and here's Jax, and he's got robot arms. And I was like, am I supposed to know who this is? Because I don't. And it doesn't seem like any of the characters except for Sonya know who he is. So he was not in the first one, then, right?
No, he wasn't.
Okay, because he just shows up and he's like, I'm Jax, and I've got robot arms. And it feels like it's like, yeah, okay, you had an arc, but what?
But then he takes the robot arms off, right?
Yeah, but like,
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's and because Raiden's like, those arms are your weakness, and I'm like, no, like, like no, but like the way he's introduced, and just the way everyone is introduced to this movie is people just show, even the way that the main characters are introduced, you just like dropped right into it, and like good for them that they're not like they spend like a sentence recapping the first one, but for me who hasn't seen the first one, hasn't played the games. Who are these people? Like, what is happening right now? They're like, then Mortal Kombat happened, and I'm just like, oh, I guess there was a Mortal Kombat in the first one, and then these guys all knew each other, and they beat a bad guy. Cool. But like, it does not hold your hand with any of that. It just is like, here's a character, boom, they're gonna show up, they're gonna be a dog, and then they're gonna go away, and then you're like, okay, and then this guy's got robot arms. He's best friends with her. Don't worry about it. It's cool. All right.
Yeah, they were really trying their best to just throw I don't think there was a character that was not from the game, other than like henchmen and like thugs. Everyone was from the games at that point. And I think at this point when this film came out, Mortal Kombat 4 had come out. So there was already like by Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, there was already a fuck ton of characters. The Mortal Kombat 4 added even more characters on top of that. And it's just insane. So they were like, all right, like even Melina, like I was kind of like, damn, they just shoehorned her in. And she's really part of the lore with like Shao Kahn and Sindel and Kitana. They just like, and the thing is, you're completely right on that aspect because like when she had the mask on her face, like I was telling my girlfriend, because she was also like, what the fuck's going on? And I was like, oh, well, this Melina, she's like, you know how there's a guy ninjas? Well, there's a girl ninjas too. Tana, Melina, Jade, forgot the other ones, but essentially, yeah, Melina and Kitana are sisters. They don't fucking say anything about that. And she wears a mask, and I don't know if you even bothered thinking like, oh, why is she wearing a mask?
I just thought, why does she look like Scorpion?
Yeah, she never takes off the mask, huh?
She does. She has like a Baraka mouth.
Yeah, the Baraka mouth. Uh-huh.
Yeah, she's like a genetic clone of Katana, and like she's mixed with like Baraka's race.
Oh, so that's why she was like, "Are you Katana?" And she's like, "You wish," or is that somebody else?
Yeah, no, I think that was it. Yeah, you're right, because that was supposed to be like a reference for the players, and I'm like, very cool. You didn't show her mouth, which would have been really fucking cool too. And that was it. I was like, okay, cool. All right. And then, yeah, like,
did they for like, a second, or they didn't at all? I can't remember. Did they show? Did they show Melina's mouth in the movie?
No, no, they didn't show it. They showed Baraka, and then when you see Baraka, you go, that makes fucking sense because that fucking face makeup is like 5 feet long this way, like. like it's just such a forward mouth. I'm like, yeah, I've seen Halloween masks at the time that looked better than his mask. Baraka's the Blades guy. That's where
Okay.
the Baraka
he
pool came from.
is wearing like a Party City Halloween mask.
Yeah. Like this movie looks like I was watching this movie and there's that fight where all the CG guys are like jumping. I was like, this movie came out 5 years after Jurassic Park. Like, like what is happening?
I mean, look at that weird dragon thing that comes out. Like it has like 50 colors. I keep every time it pops out. I'm like, that looks creepy, but in like a reboot kind of way. I don't know if you guys ever watched that show. It's just that CG show Reboot.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Like that's what they look like, a creature from that show.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, they look scary in that show. In this movie, it looks very Uncanny Valley where you're like, what the fuck? What is that? That doesn't it's weird.
It looked, you know what it looked like? It looked like early YouTube when people would like make fan videos, you know, like they'd be like, here's my Star Wars video, and they'd just put on like After Effects, and it'd be like the sky would be fucked up, and there would be like a weird like just CG monster that you could just plunk in with using like a tool. That's what it fucking looked like.
But yeah, I mean, I applaud them for trying, because nowadays it's really hard for like, I mean, as you can see later on with the Resident Evil series, like, I feel like they would use one character from the actual games at a time. Like they're like, here's Chris for this one. Now this one you get Nemesis. Now this one you get Jill. Like a very little thing. So I kind of appreciate them trying to be like, yes, let's throw in every motherfucker, but it just did not work at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, like, that, I don't know if they were hesitant to do in the newest one and stuff like that, because then we have that original character that sucks kind of thing.
Yeah.
The main guy.
I like him.
And stuff. So I don't know if that impeded their, like, decision to, like, oh, like, we can't push too hard this time around or something like that, but yeah, like, it's just like kind of, I don't know if it's just I don't want to call it like a bastardization of the characters, because like they're
because they look mostly fine. Yeah,
it's just that like it's very much equates to the actual game in the way of like you going up a tower with no context. You're just fighting characters and stuff like that. So yeah,
I mean, yeah, that's true, because if you think about it, at the end they face off with Motaro, and then they fight Shao Kahn. Motaro's the centaur.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have to remember to say it, because
I was like, I don't know who the fuck any of these guys are.
Because when I was watching my girl, I was like, oh yeah, da-da-da-da. And then she's like, I don't know who the fuck you're talking about. I'm like, oh yeah. So it's this guy. And then there's that scene where there's like all the ninjas, and she even went, oh, did a ninja duplicate himself? And I was like, no, he killed Rain. That's Ermac. And she's like, what the fuck did you just say? And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't.
The violet guy got killed. The red guy is still there. Scorpion and Sub-Zero have never showed up. I don't know where the fuck they are. They fought and they left.
Right, they're like, we got to put these guys in because they're the most famous characters. All right, they're gone though. It doesn't matter.
And then I like how they just didn't really. Well, they barely said it. They're like, "You killed my brother," and that was it. So you're like, "Oh, that's Sub-Zero's brother," and he's a good guy all of a sudden. Okay, I mean that's how it is. He does change after a while. He's like, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. I'm over it. My brother is an asshole because he becomes Noob Saibot. Blah blah blah. But yeah, it really just throws everything at you. But anyways, back to the tower stuff. Yeah, Motaro's like the pre-boss, and then Shao Kahn. So I'm like, it made sense. And then you do get the animalities, which was cool at the time. I remember being really hyped. Oh, fuck, my bad. Animalities. Yeah. So there's fatalities, like the really gory finishers.
Fatality. Yeah. Okay, that much I know.
So there's animalities. Animalities are like, they turn into animals and then they kill you. So you can guess.
That's what the fucking Animorph shit was. I was like, why is this in the fucking movie?
Yeah, it's because it was hot at the time. It was like, whoa. And then there's brutalities, which is just your character beats the living shit out of the other character. Then there's babalities, where they turn them into babies. And then the 90s had a lot of funny ass finishers. Yeah, kind of. It's just a baby form of the character. It's like, oh, there's a baby, and then there's friendships where they didn't kill them. They would just summon, they'd give the other person a gift or some shit. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, the animality was like the big one because everyone had one.
Okay.
You know, Sub-Zero would turn into a polar bear. Liu Kang turned into like a really badass dragon, and he would eat you. So that was like the hot thing at the time. They're like, we can't do fatalities because they didn't really do well. Oh, they did kind of do a fatality. They did. Sonya Blade did a fatality. She like they did the realistic version where she does the kiss of death. She blows, and then the fire blows the robot. I think that was Sector, and yeah, that was like their way of being like, it's real.
Yeah, because
But
it's
it's
PG-13,
the
so you can't rip
fatality.
somebody's fucking spine out of their fucking back or whatever.
Yeah, which is a
90s
big bummer.
PG-13. Like nowadays.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
not put that in a fucking PG-13 movie today.
Well, what's the is the
The-
newest one?
The new ones are,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's R.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
The new
'cause
ones are,
Jax-
which thank God.
Mhm. Yeah, Jax actually gets his arms ripped off,
Mhm.
and then that's when they have powers in that one, but I can't remember. I have to rewatch the newest one, but like that's how he gets his metal arms because that's his like ability or whatever. Can't remember what they called it. It was kind of strange. I was like, okay.
Yeah, they just like kind of like, gave everybody powers through the same thing or whatever.
They're like
kinda
X-Men.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But real fast, guys, can we talk about the metal balls that go through the center of the earth and transport you to anywhere you want? Is that a thing in Mortal Kombat? Because I was like, what is happening now? Like, they just go on these balls, and then it's just they're like Liu Kang and the girl are like flirting, and then she makes out with him. I was like, oh yeah, I guess you guys were kind of flirting in that weird metal ball that was going through the Hollow Earth or whatever. What was that? Like, what was that?
Something similar because there are different realms in the game, and
Mhm.
Yeah, but it wasn't even that. It was they were going through the
They
center
were
of
going
the
through
earth.
Earth. Yeah.
Was that in the first one? Like, or was
No,
that just
no.
some random
No.
bullshit they
First
came
one-
up with?
the first one essentially just takes place in like that space, or they do go to another realm. They go to
Okay,
like
because they were like, we got to get here, and then like the animation for it was real fucking janky. The animation like all of a sudden went to like fucking like 1 frame per 4 seconds. It was like, boom, boom, boom. I was like, what is happening right now?
yeah, because in the first one they're essentially at the temple, and then do they go to another realm? They go to another realm at the towards the end, right?
I think they go to Outworld. I
Yeah.
think they're.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's.
Like a
I think they're
desolate-
still on Earth.
yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
fucks me up? It's because sometimes the first one it came out roughly around the same time as Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, and Mortal
Classic,
Kombat
certified
first one.
classic.
Certified classic. The what do you call it? The Power Rangers also have to go to another dimension on a boat, and in Mortal Kombat, I think they do the same thing. So sometimes I get them confused, and I'm like, I don't know if either Power Rangers went to another world or Mortal Kombat just was on a boat and they went to an island, and then later on they went to Outworld. I kind of blend the two in a lot, which is weird.
I don't know, because it's kind of like the first one is homages to Enter the Dragon a bit, kind of
Mhm.
thing, with them going to like the tournament and getting the invites to go to the tournament, going to the tournament, and then like Shao, no,
Shang Tsung.
Shang Tsung, like drops him and like your soul is mine, all that shit.
Oh, that guy, your soul is mine. That guy's
Yeah,
also in Tekken, that actor.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Yeah,
Heihachi,
and-
which is fucking weird.
And you know what's really cool is this is how iconic that the first one is that they brought back that actor to play Shang Tsung in MK11.
Yes.
And later on, they even brought like his skin, like of the one from the movie, like his costume. You see that in the movie, so it's really cool to see him back again. That dude just loves the character, so he's really missed in Annihilation for sure.
Yeah, I was bummed. I thought I was gonna get to see him in this movie, but that's the one thing that this movie was missing was that guy. Because this movie had everything you would want from a bad movie.
Legit. And the thing is, he was fucking outstanding in the first one. He was the shit. He was a great villain. He just kept you captivated, and you're like, fuck yeah. But, yeah, oh gosh. I was kind of disappointed how some of the characters just got their shit whooped really fast. I get it. They could. I was like, at least give it like 10 more minutes of fighting throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Like, just I wanted Sindel, you know, the Yas Queen of Mortal Kombat, just to like whip people's ass with her hair. Like, she did the scream, which was really cool, but like her hair is like her big thing. I just wanted to see someone get choked out by her hair.
Mm-hmm.
That's
is that why her hair did that? I was like, why did it do that? Why did it do it once?
Yeah, her hair. She fights with her hair. Like, I mean, she like, you know, punches and kicks, but like her abilities is like with her hair, and she's like a banshee. Like, she screams and shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
yeah,
yeah.
like how, like, what do you think was the average time of a fight in this movie compared to like the first one? Like the first one, like I think they overall the first one only had like maybe like 3 iconic fights because they had Sub-Zero versus Scorpion, right? In the first one, and then they had, gosh, dang these names.
It was a Sonya Blade with Kano, which is like one of the opening ones. Then Sub-Zero Scorpion, and then I think Sub-Zero Liu Kang. Johnny Cage versus Scorpion was really bad. That one's very iconic. And then the Goro versus Johnny Cage. And then the final one, I think, was Shang Tsung versus Liu Kang.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, they're all pretty great.
They were like, yeah, they had good length and girth to them. But like for this one, like, it was, but this one is essentially like, how long on average do you think a fight was in this movie? At least
I feel like maybe like 1:30, maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah, it felt like they were like, we're gonna put in. There's gonna be a lot of fights, but they're just gonna be very quick because there was just like we just had about like, oh, you want to see this guy fight this guy? We've got it. How about this? How about Jade fighting him? Cool, we've got it. We've got it. All right. How about and then we're gonna have 5 fights happening at this end at the same time. They're all gonna last 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think it was just too many characters. Because I think with the first one, like Ariel said, I think, you know what it really was? It was quality over quantity. Because the first one, I think it had about 6 fights. I think maybe even, I think about 6, 7. This one was like every 2 minutes. A little bit of story, fight. A little bit of story, fight. A little bit of story, fight. A little bit of story. There was always a fight going on. Mm-hmm. And they were just super short, super like, Like, I think the most memorable one was Jax and Sonya versus, I think it was Sector. It was like the silver. No, maybe it was Smoke. It was one of the robots. He was like silver, and I was like, that's kind of the longest fight in the whole movie. I feel like the Scorpion Sub-Zero one was like Derek said, it just throw it in there. Hey, they fought.
It made no sense. Like in the context of the story, it just happens, and then they just move on. Like nothing. It was just so random.
Yeah, it's just there, and you're like, oh, okay. Like, I honestly, because I hadn't seen it since the 90s, so I thought Sub-Zero had a bigger role, and it was completely nostalgia. It's just because that version, how he looks, like with the scar and without the mask, he looks like that in Mortal Kombat, like 3, 4. Like, I think you're able to have like the ninja version, or then you can have the scarred version. I think you can play as Bihan, his brother, and then Qui-Gon, which is this version.
Qui-Gon?
Yeah. But yeah, essentially, it was the hype at the time. They're like, yeah, we want to see Sub-Zero like that. And then seeing, like that fight. You know what was disappointing? I thought Scorpion was going to do his little teleport move. And like he like vanishes off the screen. And I was like, oh, he's going to come behind you. And he just, nope. Grabs Katana. And then you'd never see him again.
Yeah. I was waiting for him to come back, and it was just...
I was waiting for him too. I was like, I could have sworn he was here again.
Yep. Me too.
At least Ed Boon did the voice, which is awesome. You know, he did the voice of him in the first one. He does the voice. Ed Boon's one of the creators, for the people out there that don't know. Him and John Tobias created Mortal Kombat, and he's the get over here. He's the voice actor for that.
Okay.
So yeah, it was cool to hear his voice again. And funny enough, again, one of the guys on the team that came up with the story was John Tobias, one of the creators of Mortal Kombat. And I'm like, you didn't put any input? You didn't say, hey, don't fucking do this or don't do that? But I don't know if he was on the script or they were saying, we're basing off the story from the game.
Yeah, there's probably like a story by credit, because I was actually just kind of perusing the Wikipedia article earlier, and I didn't recognize these names, but you said them, so just click something in my brain, and it says in 2 separate 2012 interviews, Ed Boon and John Tobias both said Annihilation was their personal worst moment in the history of working on the franchise.
That's awesome. That's pretty fucking funny. And then they've had some stinkers in the franchise too, so... You know, I'm talking to you, Mortal Kombat Anthology Sub-Zero.
Got him.
Yeah, Jesus. But yeah, that's pretty fucking funny. But what would you say is like God? It's hard to find it. What is like any redeeming factors for this movie? Like if it because Derek, you said you walked in without knowing anything.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't play the games. As someone who just walked in without any knowledge, what would be like a redeeming quality for the movie? Then you go, fuck it.
Jax he's like, I don't know who any of these fucking guys are. I have robot arms. For some reason, I just decided to get a robot surgery in this abandoned warehouse. So I don't know who the fuck you are with your lightning powers. I don't know who. And he just kept like, I don't know who this guy is, but I'm gonna fucking punch him. Like he was just like, Jax gave 0 fucks. He was like, all right, I guess I got to do this. Whatever. Like that guy was just he was just like, this is where I'm at. Like, and the actor was clearly having the time of his life. So Jax was amazing. Like Jax was fucking great.
Yeah, it's just like you said. I kind of have a memory of there being more Sub-Zero and Scorpion. I think that's a telling of like that was the bright spot of this movie, that I thought that it was a little bit more, because it was like the most memorable part to me. So yeah, so I would think like the whole like tease, it ends up being just a tease of the Sub-Zero Scorpion lore.
Yeah, the tiniest of tease.
Yeah.
For
but
sure.
It's like it made us both think that it's a bigger part of the movie than it actually is.
Yeah, and it's funny because like if they did have Sub-Zero on their side, they'd probably kick a lot of ass. Like that shit would have got done a lot sooner. But yeah, again, a lot of it was. But I will say one of the redeeming things about it is that, as bad as it is, it's pretty fun. Like my girlfriend, she's not a gamer at all, like whatsoever. Like she was like the blue guy Scorpion, right? And I was like, close. It's the other way around. You almost got him. And she was like, yeah, I don't. But at the end of it, she was like, it was fun. It was stupid. Had a good time with it. Like you just enjoy it. You know, like that's really all there is to it. I guess it's so bad. You're like, fuck it. It's one of those movies you pop on at a party and you're like, who wants to see something fucking horrible?
Yeah.
Here you go. Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Yeah, very well said. Absolutely.
Well, yeah. Well, thank you everybody for listening in. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I hope you guys go out and check it out. I would wait for it to be streamed somewhere. Don't pay for it.
Yeah.
I paid $2 for this movie, and it was too much.
Yeah, I paid $2 for it.
I had thought that it was gonna be on like HBO Max at least, you know.
No, they take everything off their fucking website nowadays.
And it's so funny because like I was like, we use this website called justwatch.com to find where the movies are that we're gonna review. And I remember pulling it up and it gave me the recent one and then the first MK. And then I was like, no, Annihilation. And it's like,
are you sure?
Okay. Sure. And then it goes, oh, Amazon. So I was like, I guess I'll rent it on Amazon. I put Mortal Kombat, and then it goes, do you want the original one or do you want the new one? And I'm like, no, it's Annihilation. And I just feel like Amazon, I can feel it judging me. Like, are you sure you're gonna pay for that? Are you fucking sure, dude? And I'm like, yeah. gonna pay for it. So let's do it. Happy April Fools.
Hey.
I think this has like been the most. Why did we watch this one out of all of our April Fools ones?
No, I loved it watching it. Are you kidding me? This
you
was a
liked
fucking
it?
blast.
Oh, okay.
Like I had a fun time watching it. I'm so glad you picked this, Alan.
Yeah, it's just one of those where I was like, it's fuck it. It's what like you remember it being kind of bad, and then when you start watching, you're like, this is bad, but I'm enjoying it. Like I'm
Yeah.
enjoying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was having dinner with it, so I was like, all right, you know, fuck it,
Yeah.
have a good time. But yeah, hopefully, you guys, if it ever streams, check it out. If you have nothing to do for 95 minutes, you got that for you.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then, we have other shows too. If you guys want to go ahead and check them out, Ariel has her show if you want to take from there.
I host a podcast called You've Never Seen, exclamation point, where I or my guests watch a movie and discuss it after the first viewing, and it's a movie that's considered part of pop culture or cinematic history.
And then, Derek, you got your shows?
Yeah, I've got my Marvel podcast, Infinity Stones and Dragon Bones, which I do sporadically whenever there's a new Marvel release. We come up with a new episode. So the next one I believe is probably going to be Guardians 3. So look forward to that. I've already got a pretty cool guest lined up. And then I also do with my friend Damien the podcast Can I Say Something, where we take a look at just kind of a what have we been watching type show, just general movie discussion show, very kind of lighthearted, a lot like this is.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thank you so much, you guys, again. Appreciate you guys listening. We would love to hear from you guys more. So please check us out on our socials. Leave us reviews, whatever you can. I love seeing whatever you guys write when I check up on iTunes. Super, super awesome. Always brings a smile on my face. So please, we want to hear more from you guys. Really appreciate it. And thank you. Go out and check out Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Have fun with it. So yeah, take it easy, everybody.
Bye. Thanks for being amazing.
Game over.